Hello and welcome to the Downsized. Today a special live with our friend Dave Knapp. Dave, hello.
Hey, Dave.
Hello, Christopher, Laraine. Thanks for having me over to the Downsized. It's always a pleasure to chat with you both, and congratulations on all your success over here. You guys are like meteorically rising over here at the Downsized.
Nothing stuns us more. I can tell you.
I can identify with that wholeheartedly. That's awesome.
Just to do the intro. So, of course, I'm Christopher Durham.
And I'm Laraine Durham.
And this is our channel, The Downsized. So we wanted to invite Dave on today. Just he has a new book out on GLP-1s and talk about the book and whatever else we have going on. So I know we'll give it a little while. Dave, I think there's about 16 people on there. So we'll see who gets there. A couple of comments.
Kind of an interesting time of day to do a live stream. I've done these and they're hit or miss sometimes, but welcome to
never know.
Yeah, so I guess whoever is not working at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a Tuesday.
Look, Chasing Sunshine says she already has her book.
Oh, yay.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
All
that.
right,
Thank you.
well, let's see here, Dave. Let's look at it this way. Well, I like that one.
Beautiful.
Oh, book. Who knew?
It's a beautiful graphic. Beautiful graphic.
Yeah, well, so tell us about what you did and what your goals were, and kind of give us the background on the book.
Yeah. So again, thank you for having me and letting me highlight what we're doing here. I'm sure you'll be able to identify with a lot of what I'm about to say as content creators. Thank you, Mindy. One of the first things that I heard over and over on repeat from my community, on the pen community, was this huge reticence for people to be willing to share their journey at all on a GLP-1 medication, let alone with the people that matter the most in their life, including some people, their own spouses, that they did not want to know that they were taking these medications. And usually it boiled down to a lack of education about what these medications are and how they worked. And honestly, nothing broke my heart more than to think about members of our community who were sort of living with this part of their life just in kind of in a dark corner. And that it just made me sad because there's such a great story to be told with these medicines and an opportunity to educate not only about the medications, but about living with the disease of obesity and the plight of people who struggle with obesity. And so the book itself was always in my head from very, very early on, starting on the pen. Like I have to create something that somebody can just go, hey, this guy says it better than I can. So take this and just read it. And so by design, I just really wanted to create a conversation starting piece so that those people who are sort of living in the shadows with their loved ones on this GLP-1 journey actually felt empowered to have those conversations. And that's the whole heart behind the book.
Well, so I know you had a small team that helped you out. Talk to us about some of that. I know our buddy Cloakster was in the mix here.
Oh yeah, Clokey. So very early on, I pretty much had it start to finish within the first few months. And then I basically passed along a copy of what I had done to a couple members of the community. Cloakster was one of them, and probably the greatest external contributor, just from the standpoint of, hey, you might want to say it this way or consider saying it that way. So he was extremely helpful in that process. Another OG on the penners, her name is Michelle Hess. She was on my show very early on and still engaged, somebody who's in maintenance with GLP-1 medications. But she definitely helped along the way too, just clarifying a few things. And then my mom, my mother, who is a writer herself, her and I spent a lot of time together on this book, just brainstorming different ideas and making sure that we had all of our bases covered and all the things that we wanted to talk about, including one of my favorite parts about this book. In the back of it here, we sort of added this at the end. There's a lot of really great stuff in here, but at the end, conversation starters, like how to start a conversation with a loved one about your choice to treat obesity with medication, right? Just 6 little easy conversation starters, like non-awkward ways to approach the conversation with people that you love. And then conversely, because my heart behind this is that people in the community would take this book, read it, learn a little bit more about the book and about the medication they're on and what they're doing to treat their disease, and then pass it along to those loved ones. Just like, hey, here, Merry Christmas. This is from me. This, when you keep asking what I've done to lose all this weight, just read this book. You'll understand. This is for them. Tips for supporting someone on a GLP-1 medication for weight loss. So it's equal parts for people who are on the pen or interested in the pen, and for people who are the loved ones of those people. And so for that reason, by design, it is not a huge book. It is very digestible. While it is chock full of content, it's 10 different chapters covering everything from the history of GLP-1 medications all the way up to the current state of the medications. And even we get into the shortages and compounded versions of the medications. And we get into 503A and 503B pharmacies, just to clarify some of that stuff, because people keep hearing a lot of stuff in the media. I thought it was important to include something in there. But we pack a ton of information into not an overwhelming book, because when you want somebody to understand big, deeply complex things, the last thing that you want to do is give them homework that they're never going to do. And so I didn't want it to be a 350-page dissertation laden with a lot of deeply complex information. I just wanted to be like, how can we really quickly get to the root of people's concerns? This isn't phentermine. This isn't fen-phen. This is a new style of medications, and just kind of we go into that and how it was developed. And so, yeah, I'm really proud of what we put together here. And more than anything, I just can't wait to hear people's stories, specifically stories like Mindy has shared with me that she kept.
So Mindy actually commented. Let's see what Mindy has to say.
Mindy says, I told Dave today that this book and something Christopher said to me have been the impetus for me wanting to come out to my mom. Mindy hasn't told her mom, I think, at this point about her journey. You guys have not only moved me, but you've given me the tools. So thanks for that comment, Mindy. Mindy's been on our show and talked about how she hasn't been able to tell her mom about being on a GLP-1.
She hasn't told her mom she was diabetic either.
Wow.
Yeah. So hopefully this will help.
And even what you said there, she hasn't even said that she's diabetic. There's so much shame and guilt wrapped up into this, like it's our fault.
Right.
When in reality, we're mostly genetically dispositioned for this lifestyle. Not to say that there isn't personal choice involved in all of this as well, but hey, we got a visitor.
Jojo's here.
I should go get Ella and let her crawl around and see if they fight on screen here.
It's possible.
But yeah, that is definitely the heart behind the book, and for people like Mindy especially. And I cannot wait to hear the stories. Like, I hope it goes well for starters. But I can't wait to hear it, because I know that this is going to foster conversations that people on their own didn't know how to begin.
Yeah, it's really hard we didn't tell our families. I didn't tell my mom and dad for about 6 months till we decided to come out with a YouTube channel. I'm like, well, I guess if I'm going to tell the world, I need to tell my mom. But yeah, it was difficult because my parents are people who really don't like taking a lot of medicine, and
they're very private.
Very private. So it was really difficult. So I would have definitely appreciated a book like this to kind of guide and give examples and conversation starters. That sounds like a really great idea.
We got a super chat here. Let me acknowledge Piggy. So hello, Piggy. I didn't see you this past week. Good to see you, and thank you for the super chat.
Thank you.
Here, let me give him something here. Where am I going here?
I don't know.
Me neither. I never quite know where I'm going, but it's all good. Oh, here we go. We'll give him a dancing girl.
Yay!
Ooh, 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 ooh.
And we've got a link to buy Dave's book. I think it's in the chat, right?
It's in the chat, and it's also in the description. If you want to go buy Dave's book, it's available on Amazon. And it's both the print version, as you see, and on Kindle. How much is the book, Dave?
I believe it's around $15 for the paperback version, and then it is $9.99 for the Kindle version, I believe.
Perfect.
So hopefully accessible for most people. If it's not, if there's anybody out there who's like, I can't swing this, but I need it, just send me an email, David on the Pen. I'll make sure you get one. DavidOnThePen.com.
That's very nice.
It's most important to me. The most important thing to me here is to get it into people's hands, and that they would just take it, read it, pass it along. I even thought about adding, I asked my mom the other day, I was like, should I add a page at the end that's like the traveling sister pants? I can't remember what it was. Like, I'm Dave. I read this at this time and I'm passing it along to so-and-so, like, I think that would be a really cool thing to add, because honestly, my heart is that every book that goes out ends up in 10, 15 different people's hands. I just want people to, for the members of our community to feel like they can have richer, fuller relationships. They are feeling like they're having richer, fuller lives because the medicine has transformed them for reason A, B, or C. But I don't like the thought of them experiencing all this success and all the wonderful things that come along with treating their disease without being able to share that with the people that matter most in their life. And so I really, my vision behind it has always been just pass it along. And I hope that people find it helpful. I think they will, but I hope people find it helpful, and then I hope that they pass it on.
Well, lots of excited people here. Let's see. Linda Bookmiller says she gets hers tomorrow.
Yay.
Awesome. Thank you, Linda. Very kind of you. It's been a wonderful thing from the community. The support from the community has been overwhelming. You don't always get the nicest comments. Even if you go read the comments or the reviews on the book so far, it's like, ouch. Like, some people are just mean. And so the community has been a wonderful support.
Yeah, I guess the whole subject of GLP-1, whenever, a lot of times the reaction I get is, why couldn't you just diet and exercise? Or why do you have to take medicine? Or what, so I can imagine, and people on the internet think they can say things, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's a really great thing that you put this out there.
Keyboard warriors, don't worry about it.
Christopher can go in and delete the comments for you.
I will delete you quicker than a heartbeat. That's right. Mindy says
I'm pretty sure, don't you have to buy something to leave a review? So I at least took solace in the fact that they had to buy a book to leave a review.
Yeah.
So Mindy says on your next live, she'll do a $15 super chat to support somebody getting the book. So.
That's great.
Kind.
Yeah. Thanks,
Mindy.
Mindy.
That's so sweet.
Yeah. Mindy, thank you for being a member here at the Downsized as well. If you got questions for Dave, well, we got him. Now's a good time to ask questions as well. I mean, there's so much going on. Of course, Dave, what's going to happen 19th, you think?
Man, well, first of all, I just got done before we got on. I just got done recording my podcast for today. So this is like fresh in my mind. And I when I said December 19th, I looked down at my phone as like I kind of do that when I'm live streaming sometime. Oh yeah, it's the 17th today. That's 2 days away. I'm not sure if you all got the chance to catch it or not. But I had a really awesome interview last week with the chief counsel representing the Outsourcing Facilities Association in that FDA trial. That was a really interesting conversation, both on camera and off camera. And, there was just an air of like when I brought up the date to him, I said, this is what our community is interested in. And obviously from our community's perspective, people are just panicking about potentially losing access to a medication that's changed their life in an environment where the commercial drug still is not accessible for everyone. And he said, and I think I said, so we're all eagerly awaiting December 19th. And he said, December 19th, like it was like weird to him that I brought it up. He goes, oh, that's just the day that they report back. And so I think from his perspective, I don't think that he really saw, I don't think he saw any change coming from the status quo anytime before the next administration takes over. And I really, I'm really bullish actually. And he was also about some of the people that will be in charge, maybe being a little bit more friendly to compounding. I believe his words were, it seems like the current or historically is probably a better way to say it. Historically, the FDA has sort of had its thumbs on the scale of compounding. And he said that he's hopeful with some of the new people coming in. Dr. Makari, who's being tapped to run the FDA, is actually the CEO of a major telehealth company, Sesame. I'm sure you guys already covered this over here,
Yeah.
but and so potentially maybe being a little bit more favorable to compounds, and definitely some of the people that are coming into some positions of power have been outspoken against big pharma. So will be interesting to see for sure.
Well,
But it sounds like status quo.
Yeah, there's quite a few of them that I'm pretty sure are on the drug anyway. So
yeah, I mean the benefits at this point probably haven't been elusive of nearly any sector of society, especially people who can afford it. So yeah, and I even thought it was funny because I don't know if you saw, this is what our podcast is a lot about, PBM reform, and the remarks yesterday by the president-elect, and it was very interesting. People were like, well, how do you know he's talking about PBMs? Because he kept saying the middlemen. I don't know who these middlemen are. It's a very Trumpy speech. I don't know who these middlemen are. But I was like, well, when you're a billionaire, PBMs don't have the power to wreck your life like they do everybody else.
That's right.
So why would you know?
Yeah.
I mean, when you have that much money, you're self-insuring. You just write the check. It doesn't matter.
Well, and I never knew what a PBM was, and before we started this medication, like I didn't, like it wasn't on the radar. Now it's like, oh, what are these people doing? Like,
well, all the insurance and the PBM stocks tanked right after that. So.
Yeah, right. They knew who he was talking about. Yeah. Yeah, that was interesting.
Nobody was really questioning it.
Yeah, so there's a lot going on, but definitely we're watching the 19th very closely. We're watching the semaglutide shortage very closely because it took the FDA, I think 3 weeks to act on 3 to 4 weeks to act on tirzepatide once Lilly reported it as off shortage. Obviously they haven't acted on semaglutide yet. And so I think that is like, there aren't that many people talking about that right now, but that'll be interesting to see too. Do they act on that in the middle of all this, or do they just leave it status quo? Again, back to that interview, they thought status quo, but
I mean, I'm with you. I think it's just going to get kicked. The ball is going to get kicked down the field, and we'll see what happens in mid-January at some point.
I'll be placing my refill for my compounded tirzepatide shortly. Place your refills now.
I'm sure. So Laraine, you're with is it Mochi?
Mochi Health. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So does Mochi offer? Just curious, do they offer any like multiple months at a time deals, or is just 1 month at one time?
They currently don't. They currently only offer 1 month at a time. I know a lot of people have asked for that, and things change all the time. So I always tell people, go to their website and just check it out. They are not worried. They don't seem to be concerned, which I guess is a good thing from my point of view. So we'll just keep going. We'll just keep, like I said, I'll just keep reordering it until I can, and then I'll figure out where to go from there. So,
I mean, Dave, I'm sure you've seen it. I mean, Reddit's been on fire talking about some pharmacies and some providers that had some of those extended dates that are not quite testing the way they should.
I don't. That's why I have Allie watching Reddit for me now.
Apparently they were testing Zappies from the Ouija or whatever it is, and that it wasn't testing well.
Wasn't testing well in terms of what? Because I've heard some things through just industry people that are like, they have some things to say about that, but I haven't heard specifically what you're talking about.
I didn't dive deep into it because I never quite believe documents that are posted on Reddit. It's just kind of,
I don't know. There's a lot of rabbit holes you can go down on Reddit. So
that's probably why I have to stay away from Reddit, because that's the stuff I'll jump all over. I'll be like, ooh, this is fun.
Yeah. You're like,
it's like they're copied and pasted things that are only parts of the document. And you're like, well, is this real? And
I don't know. There's a lot of stuff out there. It's hard to dig through the rumor and the gossip. So we try to stay away from that for the most part.
Oh,
Yeah,
so let's see. We have 65 people here, so make sure you're liking and subscribing. And if you just joined us, we're talking about Dave's book. So Dave has a new book called Decoding GLP-1s. It's available on Amazon right now. You can get it in print and for the Kindle. And somebody just mentioned if you have, I think if you have the premium Kindle, Kindle Unlimited, here, you can get it.
Book free on Kindle Unlimited, which is now $4.99 for 2 months. So yeah, I have a Kindle. I love it. I can download books. Like, I don't even have to be at home. As long as you're on Wi-Fi, you can download a book, and it's super easy. So I'm glad there's a Kindle edition, and you can do the Kindle Unlimited, which is what Kathleen up there was talking about. So yeah, that's awesome.
And I would bet if you get it today, you can have it in time for the holidays.
Yeah, I think we're getting to the last couple of days here where if you order it, you'll still have it before Christmas. And so I kept saying I'm going to get it out before the holidays. Well, then Thanksgiving came and went, and I was like, okay, we've got to get this out before Christmas. I wanted people who potentially wanted to introduce their loved ones to it at Christmas time to be able to do that. And so, yeah, you're running out of time to do that. But again, it is available on the Kindle. I have it. You don't even have to have a Kindle to have it. Just download the app on your phone. And
oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
So it's pretty easy to access the Kindle copies, which are a little bit cheaper too. But especially if you get the Kindle, whatever it is, the unlimited, then I think that the book's on there too.
Yeah, it's really nice that it's coming out before Christmas, because I know a lot of people travel for Christmas. We see a lot of relatives. We see a lot of relatives we haven't seen in a long time, and they might say, "Oh, look at you. You've lost weight," and ask you a bunch of questions. And so, how are you going to navigate that? And how are you going to explain things to them? Make sure you have your copies of Dave's book to travel along with you for the holidays. So
when I romanticize how this all happens in my head, it's like, how'd you lose all that weight? And then somebody's just like, here you go. Take a read. Because one of the things that was said to me early on was like, I just wish I could say it like you. And so I was like, that was like the moment where I was like, we need to write a book, because not everybody consumes social media content. You can share a video. I did a video the first Thanksgiving that I was on the pen. Maybe it was actually the second, where it was just hey, you're all going to be sitting around the Thanksgiving table and it's going to come up. Here's maybe just show them this video, right? And I got some really, really kind responses and messages about that video. And it just sort of underscored the need for something like this, a tangible, physical thing that people can hand off.
Yeah. Well, so if you haven't already bought his book, there's a link in the comments that's pinned at the top, or you can go into the description and link out and buy it right now. But hang out and watch us for a little while longer, and then you can go buy 5 or 6 copies. In fact, I bet if you reach out to Dave, he'll sell you a dozen copies and give them to all your friends.
Probably figure something out. I appreciate you both having me on here and highlighting the book. Thank you so much. Very generous of you to give your platform over to talk about this. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a great, it'll be a helpful tool for people, especially people who are just starting. I know as we come along past January 1st, every January 1st, my whole life, I've been like, New Year's, I'm going to lose weight this year. It's going to be my New Year's resolution. So I can see a lot of people starting a GLP-1 plan now through January, and this would be very helpful as they tell people about it, tell their loved ones about it, explain, and maybe they can even learn, what is a GLP-1? What does it do? Like what's happening when we take a GLP-1? Right. So all good things to know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. These are the types of things that even though I started mine for diabetes, I started it very hopeful that it would lead to some substantial weight loss for me. There was just a deficit of anything that told me how these worked. And really, I didn't take it until I could find some information about it and learned a little bit. And as soon as I learned about the history of the medication and how they worked in your body, I was like, this is a no-brainer. So that is definitely, baked into the text here as well.
Yeah.
Well, excellent.
Video
So,
data. Thanks for
oh,
the
yeah.
video. Yeah. Simply Taisha says she always did a New Year's resolution too. Hey, Taisha. And Linda Bookmiller said she got an email from Mochi wanting her to place multiple months order. I haven't received that. Maybe that's just something that came out today. So like I said, this is changing rapidly and all the time. So you can go to their website or give them a call. They're 24 hours a day. They can answer questions for you.
All right. I think that's about as much damage as we can do today, Dave.
Yeah.
Do you have big plans for the holidays in the new year?
Well, so the holidays are real big on my wife's side of the family. I mean, they are on anybody's on my side of the family too. But for my wife, her two sisters live in Minneapolis and Charleston, respectively. And this is the 2 weeks out of the year where everybody ascends on Iowa. And we spend 2 weeks with our family that we don't really get to see otherwise throughout the year, which for some people they might go, ugh, but for us, they're like our best friends. So it's a real treat for us to just be able to spend time with them. And of course, we do all the Iowa things that you do in the winter, which essentially is eat. They always have the places that they want to go that they don't have. Typically it's the other way around. We don't have much here in Iowa, but we have some great local restaurants and things like that. And so yeah, there's just a really great time to spend with family, and we really enjoy it. What about y'all?
We're going down to Charleston, South Carolina to see my sister and her family, and my parents will come and my sister's in-laws will come. And it's always a fun time to hang out with them. Especially just in small doses. We find small doses with family work best for us. And we'll have our two girls.
I feel like that's people in general, to be fair. If I had to spend 2 weeks with anybody, by the end of it, I'd be like, okay, I'm ready to go back to my quiet life. But it's interesting that you're going to Charleston. Our family's coming from Charleston. If you've ever been to have you ever been to the market?
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Mm-hmm. Have we had this conversation before?
I don't know.
I think so.
My brother-in-law has a account. I don't think I've ever shouted him out on social media, but he has an account called Low Country Photography, and they sell prints of their work. A lot of the pictures just of the architecture of Charleston, which somebody would never tire who's interested of taking pictures of that stuff. I mean, he sells those at the market. They obviously won't be there while you are because they'll be here. But
I actually went to the College of Charleston, so I've spent lots of time there. Yeah,
he did. Yeah, we've walked through the market many times. It's a great place to get souvenirs, check out things specific to Charleston and the South and the Low Country. So I like to see the ladies weaving the baskets. Yeah, they make the baskets out of the sweetgrass or the
sweetgrass baskets,
reeds, and it's just a.
All right, I got another super chat from Piggy. Does Piggy follow you, Dave?
I don't recognize the name.
$49.99 super chat. Thank you.
I feel like I would recognize that. I would also recognize the generosity.
Yeah. Thank you, Piggy. He says, being completely honest, is there anything good that ever comes after being completely honest?
No.
Here I was disappointed in the length and was hoping it was going to have more of a deep dive and more meat and potatoes information. Kudos for the effort. Amazon reviews may be harsh, but they seem accurate. Piggy's never afraid to pull punches. Well, usually I have to smack Piggy a little bit and go,
I would just say to that. I would just say to that. Piggy has.
Sorry, go ahead, Dave. Go ahead, Dave.
I would just say to that is if you listen to the first part of this live stream, when I kind of explained my heart behind it, it's that you pass it on. And Piggy, I don't know about you or the loved ones that you have in your life, but none of my loved ones want a 350-page dissertation about anything. So my heart is that people would pass this along and that it would be full of information that's helpful and useful, while at the same time not being overwhelming for those people. So it's not big by design. So I would say, one of the criticisms in one of the reviews is about the length of it, and I think that is fair. It's not a long book, but but I do have that baked into the title of the name, a guide for friends and family of those on the pen. And nobody wants to give their family homework because mine wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I want it
Well,
to be
you don't
approachable.
want to give grandma a 300-page dissertation on the history of GLP-1s. She just wants to know what's going on with you, with
Right.
her child or grandchild.
That's
So
right.
it's handy. It's more of a handy, like, pass along, like you were saying, kind of thing. So
Oh, I
that's
like
awesome.
Jennifer's idea. Jennifer says it would be great in a doctor's waiting room.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think the more we can talk about GLP-1s and get information out about GLP-1s, why we're on them, how they work, why we love them, it'll take over time, it'll just take that stigma away. So,
Right.
hopefully, books like these, quick little guides, videos like ours, channels like On the Pen and The Downsized, we're trying to get that information out to everyone. So, nobody has to be like, I'm taking a GLP-1. It'll be like, yeah, I took a GLP-1. I lost 50 pounds. It's great. I love it. So, yeah.
Absolutely. You got it. You got it.
Perfect, man. We appreciate you coming on. Let's see here. I
appreciate it. I always appreciate spending some time hanging out with fellow GLP-1 enthusiasts.
Yeah.
I appreciate the you opening up your platform to talk about this.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming on, Dave. It's always great to talk to you.
Well, so one last plug, David. Dave's new book, Decoding GLP-1s, is available on Amazon right now in both paperback and on Kindle. So you can go and pick it up for yourself or a friend or a family member and have a great conversation about that as well. Make sure you do it. And of course, we'll be live tomorrow night again for our regular live. And Dave, you have one on Thursday night too. You have one on Thursday, right?
Yeah. We have our Thursday night show. I think this is our 94th or 95th episode of On the Pen Live. It's a labor of love. But yeah, we'll be live and probably take a week or two off after that. But
yeah, I think we're going to do the same thing. All right. Well, very good. Well, if you haven't already, hit like and subscribe on there. It looks like there are 73 people on there right now. So make sure before we leave, you hit like and subscribe. It'll make sure it shares it with the whole world that wants to know more about GLP-1s.
Yeah.
And if you're not subscribed to Dave's and you're not following Dave, make sure you go do that as well. And make sure you subscribe to us. We will be back tomorrow because it seems like we publish every day as well. Thank you very much, Dave, and hopefully the book sales go well.
Happy holidays, Dave.
I appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. Happy holidays to both of you too.
All right.
Thank you.
I'm Christopher Durham.
And I'm Laraine Durham.
And we are The Downsized. See you next time.